Brendon Gibbens, and this is my Panda quiver. So this first one is the Norts by Panda, 6.0, 19, 2 3/8. Primarily what I would surf in waves that are just bigger than head high. I like having, I guess, like a neutral, basic board to resort to in a tailspin when trying different boards or different fins. It's nice to just have a very standard board that is reliable and you know you could always go back to and will just help you surf reasonably well. My shaper in South Africa, DVG Shapes, Dave is his name. He had this analogy of comparing a surfboard to like a favorite pair of shoes. If you get a new pair of shoes, they're almost too new and don't feel good and you need to break them in, and I find that's quite true about boards. I mean, a new board is beautiful, clean, but I really like it when you surf it a couple times, give it a few pressure dents, really just lay your footprint into it and just familiarize yourself with it. I did in fact go to J-Bay recently. I rode this out at Supers. This board just felt great out there, from holding the rail on some of the big open faces there. It really just did a good job. This one is 510 Sweetleaf, and primarily what I would ride on a daily basis for the waves here in California. Definitely a bit more width in it and a touch more buoyant than the Norts. The Swallowtail I find really helps for just some of the small bowly waves. It's exceptionally quick board, very zippy. I mean, for waves around like Newport or Huntington, or just the best board for this region in my opinion. This board also goes well in waves that are overhead. Even if you're trying to do turns on like slightly bigger waves or you're moving really fast, it doesn't feel like it's gonna skip out. I don't know if it's because of the Swallow, but it does still have an incredible amount of hold. Always been a little bit insular when it comes to just surfboard designs and my quiver in general, really. So I've never, I guess, learned all those technical aspects of a board like the concaves and whatever. I've always just kind of relied on that initial first wave on a new board. I really find there's how you know if a board's going to be good or not. It's quite rare for me to get a board, not like it the first time I ride it, and then find it's a lot better than I initially thought it was. I've probably been working with Blake for 5 years. I would have no idea how many boards he shaped for me in that amount of time, but pretty sure he's only shaped 2 duds. And apparently it was because he got blanks from an unfamiliar source, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. And then this random CI I've got is actually one of Dane's boards. A few years ago I was on a surf trip in Portugal towards the end of that trip, I fortuitously bumped into Craig, Anderson, and Dane. Because I'd been on a trip prior to that, I was on a bit of a board shortage. So Dane was kind enough to let me use this one and then just let me keep it, so it's very kind of him. Also, the paint on this apparently is done by his son, Sammy. I only really rode this board during that trip. If I have to return it at some stage, I will, but otherwise, maybe just keep it as a memorable borrowed gift. So this is a board that Blake gave to me recently. It's supposed to be somewhat of a quad twin fin hybrid. Yeah, as I said earlier, I've always stuck to the conventional boards, so when he gave me this, I didn't think it would be all that fantastic, but it really is quite phenomenal. It's lots of fun to surf. I mean, it's a little bit tricky if the waves are very bowly or if it's like windy, choppy conditions, but clean conditions with like a decent wall where you can build up a bit of speed and race down the line. It's absolutely phenomenal. The fin setup I've been running is the Timmy Patterson True Aims quad setup, and I was actually surfing this out at Cloudbreak recently. It just really does a brilliant job. Holds really well in the face. Feels great if you generate a lot of speed and you're racing down the line. Just really lay into each turn. It feels like it just will not skip out at all. And is actually pretty good for doing airs, surprisingly. This little round nose actually, it just makes it really easy to grab the board and maneuver it and tweak it when you're in the air, so it's lots of fun. You can do a nose grab pretty easily with it. Aesthetically, I think looks good too. I assume that's meant to say Panda. Yeah, hopefully it doesn't say anything rude. I'll take his word for it that it says Panda. It goes really well.